So I forgot that I totally forgot that Smackdown was back to 2 hours now. And good timing because we all got to get some sleep. But one person that's not going to get some sleep is CJAX. And you already know this video had to be dropped. So I'm going to go ahead and give me a little Dixie cup and pour me a little orange juice with a mixture of mango lemonade. And we're going to go ahead and get started.
Ah, man. Well, Smackdown is officially, 2 hours yet again. You know what I'm saying? Like it was for many, many years. Now it's back to 2 hours after the 3 hours of garbage we would get week to week. And I have to say, even though this episode, was 2 hours instead of 3, this was a bad episode of Smackdown. Now, obviously, it was taped, you know what I'm saying, for the July 4th, and I get that. You're going to probably hear some fireworks in the background, people going crazy outside, so happy 4th to all of you, of course. I'm saying all of you, who celebrate and everything like that, okay? But the situation is this. This episode was garbage. Now, I don't know how else to really put it. There was a bunch of ads, as per usual, okay? And nothing happened. Nothing was actually developed. You got a couple of matches announced for Saturday Night Main Event and Evolution, but none of these matches are really going to matter in the long term. Like, nobody cares about these matches. These feuds suck, and all these segments were pretty awful. You can make the case, honestly, that a 3-hour episode of SmackDown is probably a little bit better than this, because I have not seen a SmackDown this bad. Well, that's not true. We're getting bad SmackDowns every week, but, this was really bad. The crowd sucked, obviously, because it was taped. There was nothing to look forward to. Nothing interesting happened. It was a disaster class, man. And the funny thing is that normally I shut off, you guys know this, I shut off 3-hour SmackDown like an hour and a half early just because of how bad it's been. I've been shutting it off an hour or an hour and a half early now for a few months at this point. But quite frankly, this episode of SmackDown is only 2 hours, and I shut it off at 9:15. Around an hour before it ended, I was already done with this episode because it's that bad. So I don't know what to say about this, man. Nothing meaningful happens. No stars show up. There's no gravitas. None of this stuff feels engaging or meaningful or impactful. Therefore, it's skippable. SmackDown and Raw are skippable. If you, like I say this all the time, in this entire year of 2025 of WWE, if you never watched Raw live and you never watched SmackDown live and you only touched in on the Cena, Roman, or Punk segments all year, what would you have missed this year? Genuinely, what would you have missed? If you just watched the PLEs and then only watched the highlights of stuff that Roman or Cena or Punk is doing, what would you have missed? Nothing at all. So Raw and SmackDown have essentially been a waste of time now, going on 7 months, and it's unacceptable. But for some reason, we're just going to sit here and just, act like it's okay. It's not. These shows are unwatchable, and therefore I will continue to shut them off early until they can actually invest me and have me entertained for the full duration of the garbage product that they put out. So we can go ahead and just break it down. Let's go ahead and get right into it and burn through this review because nothing happens, so this should be fairly quickly. Number 1, we had Cody Rhodes come out. This dude does the same thing every week. We already know what he's going to say. What does this crown mean? What does this crown matter to you?
Boy, if
why do you need this crown? Why do you love this crown? You know what I'm saying? Dude, just shut up, dude. That's all he does. At the end of the day, Cody Rhodes at this point in his current arc is a joke. There's nothing about this dude that is interesting, engaging, or actually matters in the long term. Nobody wants to see this dude win a championship again. Whether he's heel or face, nobody wants to see this again. Nobody wants to see him fight John Cena again. This match, quality-wise, is going to be probably as good as the one they had at Mania 41, which was absolute garbage, or it's going to be slightly better, because I'm looking at the actual match for what it is. How is the story, the build, the feud, and the actual performance between the two competitors? I'm not grading this on, Seth Rollins showed up, Roman Reigns showed up, Orton showed up. I don't want to see all these cameos in every single main event. Build a good feud, give us a great, what I'm saying, a great story and a great match. But these two are not going to do that, so why do I care about this? Cody Rhodes, then basically, you can see here also he's wearing the Rolex that he got from The Rock after Mania 40, when The Rock came in the ring that one night on Raw after Mania 40, and he handed him that thing that nobody saw, but he handed him it was revealed later to be a gold Rolex, you know what I'm saying? So that's obviously alluding to the fact that The Rock may eventually show up and be beside Cody as Cody eventually turns heel. However, nobody cares, because whether Cody's face, whether he's heel, whether you love it, whether you like it, you know what I'm saying, whether the show's 3 hours or 2 hours, it sucks. So we can basically just effectively move on from this. Randy Randy Orton then comes out and glazes as per usual. Randy Orton is officially done at this point. There's nothing for him to do. All he does is come out and compliment Cody Rhodes and then go backstage and get beat up. That's all that, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's all it is. He either gets beat up in the ring or he just disappears backstage and then we see him on a PLE and he gets pinned. You know, that's really it. He's pinned what? He's had one singles victory on a PLE in like 5 years. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's embarrassing. He pinned Joe Hendry, who isn't even in WWE. So it's all of this is an absolute joke. We then get the return of Drew McIntyre because I can't stop thinking about Punk. You know what I'm saying? Drew McIntyre is officially back to call out these absolute jobbers, okay? He basically comes out there and basically calls, Randy Orton and Cody Rhodes. He basically mimics them out there like, you hang up, no, you hang up, no, you hang up. You know what I'm saying? Basically mimicking all the stuff about, he even said himself that they're talking about love and respect and care, and he's tired of it. He's tired of the beta male energy from these superstars today, which obviously, if you look at Cody Rhodes' promos, that's all this is. This is just stupid stuff taking place. All Cody Rhodes goes out there and does is talk about love and respect and care. It is what it is. It's boring, it's annoying, and now Orton's doing it too. He then questions Orton and says that Orton fell off completely because Orton doesn't even go for wins anymore. He has no legend killer left in him, and he's basically washed. After this, he then says that after Cody beats Cena at a SummerSlam, if it happens, that he wants a shot at the title and he's going to take it from him. Then Orton RKO's Drew McIntyre. He faces off with Cody, and the segment ends. What was the point of this promo? What did this further? What did this develop? Randy Orton came out there to tell Cody Rhodes to beat John Cena at SummerSlam. Like, what? Like, huh? What is up with all this? Yay! You're gonna do it! You're gonna win! You got this, dude! Keep it up, bro! Stop! You just lost a world championship shot, and you don't even know how many years left you have in the company, in kayfabe, in the storyline, and also just in general. You get what I'm saying? So why would you be coming out here and congratulating the person who beat you and saying, yeah, go beat Cena at SummerSlam? If anything, Orton should have come out here, RKO'd Cody for beating up on his injured back at Night of Champions, and then he should have punted him in the head, and then Orton should have taken Cody's place at SummerSlam. That's what would have happened if things made sense, but nothing makes sense. Everyone's a wimp, so basically you're just going to have all your top talents just basically sit backstage and watch as everyone else does what they want to do. So it is just, it's an absolute joke. We then move on and we get Blissful Flare, as some people are calling it, the team of Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss. This is the only good part of the episode, like by far. All that, well, by the way, let me just go back to that Cody and Orton and Drew McIntyre segment first of all. Number one, we have to start opening dialogues, ladies and gentlemen. Cody Rhodes is officially done in the main event scene. Nobody wants to see this anymore. Randy Orton, even if he's in the main event scene, unless he is a diabolical heel, it's over. Drew McIntyre as well. I don't know why he's in the ring, because we know that even if Orton were to turn heel, he's not winning the title from Cody, and that means that Drew McIntyre is for sure not winning the title from Cody, no matter if Drew's an anti-hero or a face or a heel. He ain't winning nothing. So I don't understand the logic of any of this. It's an absolute joke. Now let's get to Blissful Flare. This is awesome. You know what I'm saying? This is awesome. This is awesome. You know what I'm saying? So it was pretty cool. I enjoyed myself during this whole entire match and this whole setup to this. Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss are two of my favorite women's wrestlers, and I think this dynamic of Charlotte Flair not wanting to snoop down to win tag team gold with somebody else besides her, she wants to just be a solo champion, drinking in all the ego, you know what I'm saying, and basking in it and stuff like that. I think this is a good arc to change her character a bit, and it's good to see Alexa Bliss back in action and competing for championship gold with someone on the level of Charlotte Flair. This should be fun, and if booked correctly, this should actually be very good. This should be the best women's tag team we've had since Bianca and Jade were the best tag team champions I think that we've ever had in the women's division. So, we're reaching that level potentially with Charlotte and Alexa Bliss. The match itself was pretty mediocre and pretty botchy, but at the end of it, Charlotte tries to hug Alexa Bliss, and they pin Alba Fire off of a Twisted Bliss, and that's pretty much it, okay? She tries to pat Alexa's head while she's doing her moonsault, so they're kind of at odds. Charlotte then tries to hug her, then lets go quickly, kind of, getting back to her senses, and that's it. I like this a lot. Hopefully it's booked well by Triple Threat, so we can get a good story.
Well, obviously, we don't know who's going to win this match, but however, I really do hope that Raquel and Roxanne retains, because if they don't, all it's going to do is prove Liv Morgan right that these two should not be a team, and we don't want that. So I'll say just have them retain just for now until like 3 months, and then after that, hopefully Charlotte and Alexa will hopefully they'll get a rematch, but I guess we just have to wait and see. But if they lose the belts to Charlotte and Alexa, that's fine. But I will hope for them to get it back. But if they don't get it back, then yeah, have Roxanne go after the Women's World title, while Raquel go after the IC title. and they can still be champions, So hopefully that works out for the long run, but we have to wait and see. So, yeah, we'll see.
Next, we had an 8-man tag match in which the Wyatt Six ended up winning. Like I told you guys before, anything revolving around the Wyatt Six or involving the Wyatt Six, I'm not talking about for long because nobody cares and they're trash and they're boring and they should be released as soon as possible. Now, let's move on. Montez Ford, we can at least talk about him. This dude needs to get out of the tag division. When you watch Montez Ford, I saw a video earlier when I was scrolling on TikTok. I saw this earlier. It was like mentioning how Montez Ford, Booker T was talking about how Montez Ford has all the gifts. This dude has the gift of gab. You know what I'm saying? He can talk on the mic. He has charisma. When they were doing like the thing, like the train motion up and down with their arms, like him and Angela, it was actually getting over. The older thing they had actually was good because it worked for faces. And Montez Ford, obviously in ring and athletically, is just absolutely supreme. He's supreme at that level. So I do not understand why he's relegated to doing jobber tag team matches and 8-man tags with the Wyatt Six. It's beneath him. They need to turn Montez Ford, and by they, I mean Triple Fraud. Triple H needs to turn Montez Ford into an actual singles and solo competitor. We may need to talk about the allegations on Triple H soon again, because it's just a lot of things are taking place right now that make no sense. Triple H, number one, why is Trick Williams in NXT still?
Because of the poor bookings.
Do you see what I'm saying? Like, what are we doing at this point? In all seriousness, Trick Williams has way more talent and a way better potential than someone like a Bronson Reed or even someone like a Braun Breaker. Because let's be honest with ourselves. All Braun Breaker does is go out there and bark. That's it. And then he goes in the ring and botches a couple moves. Some of the moves are super athletic and look great. And then he wins the match and that's it. He's boring and he's getting stale already. Trick Williams is super over with the crowd. He actually has a chant. There's evidence of him actually being able to cut good promos. And there's evidence of him putting on multiple great matches. The match he had with Obafemi and Javon Evans earlier this year is much better than anything Braun Breaker has given us since he's come to the main roster, in my opinion. So I don't know what the holdup is, why Trick Williams is in NXT, while Braun Breaker gets a main event storyline with Seth Rollins, Bronson Reed gets one. There's just no logic behind any of this stuff. Carmelo Hayes is sitting in catering, right? While we have to sit here and watch Chris Sabin and the Motor City Machine Guns or DIY go out there and wrestle the same jobber match for 8 months straight. Do you see an issue with this now? Triple H is becoming a problem in so many areas, like I mentioned with the Rhea Ripley thing, how he books the women's division, how Triple H books his talent, the women's division, how he books his champions. Everything is so flawed about this guy. Any bad allegation you could think about this dude for him as a booker is likely true. Like, let's just be honest. It is what it is. So Montez Ford deserves better, and we need to get him in the as a solo competitor, and he needs to be, one of the top guys because he is one of the top guys talent-wise. They just need to book him as such. We then get to one of the worst women's segments of all time, which is saying a lot because quite frankly, every single Tiffany promo since she's become champion just in general has been pretty bad. So now we're seeing a situation here where she goes out in the ring, she says the same stuff, it's Tiffy time, and then Jade Cargill comes out and says it doesn't matter if it's you or whoever you choose to challenge, but I'm gonna take that championship by the time that SummerSlam is done. I'm gonna take my time and I never lost, yeah. Now, Jade Cargill basically says this, and Tiffany says he has a surprise. Trish Stratus then comes out, and it's revealed that Trish Stratus is going to fight Tiffany Stratton for the WWE Championship at Evolution.
Okay, I just want to stop the video real quick to let y'all know that Raquel got some new merch for the summer, dog. And it's black and gold. It's going down for real. Now, the price is not right, but hey, the shipping is free with the code on the bottom. So you already know. If you got an extra 40, go ahead and cop this merch. Because this merch is on fire. And this girl is on fire. Raquel is off the scale with this merch, dog. And also the link is going to be on the bio, so you already know. Let's get back to the video. Raquelio!
Now, fun fact, there was actually a report that went out today that said that a lot of talent backstage, specifically like, like the woman talent and even some men's talent, I'm sure, are basically talking about the fact that they feel like Evolution is not, a genuine pay-per-view from WWE. They feel like it's just thrown out there and thrown out, on the weekend of AEW All In, to compete. It's not a genuine pay-per-view where they're actually giving talent opportunities and stories and feuds and good matches and good showcase. It's more of just, hey, we're doing Saturday Night Main Event in Georgia. We want to do another show to help compete with All In with AEW, and so we threw this out. It's not a genuine card, it's not a genuine actual event, and therefore the talent is upset about it, or at least some talent is. And I have no problems with this. They should be upset because this isn't genuine. Out of all the women's wrestlers that exist in that locker room and just exist in general, the fact that they're throwing this out there just to have a cheap, a cheap competition with AEW is embarrassing. It is, and it is. This is not acceptable at this point. After all the great women you have on that roster, and this is the best you can do is give them some forced PLE to compete with another company. I mean, it's unacceptable, man. We then get back to the promo. Let's just talk about Tiffany Stratton had nothing to say as per usual. Jade Cargill had a little bit to say, but not much. And then Trish Stratus comes out and basically says, I like a competition. There's awkward pauses. Tiffany Stratton then says that by the end of this, it's she says it's not the Attitude Era anymore, Trish Stratus, and, I'm going to beat you. And then Trish Stratus says she likes the challenge and she'll see what happens next. Then Tiffany says everyone's going to find out that the whole entire WWE runs on Tiffy time, and it ends. This was one of the worst segments ever. There was no back and forth between any of them, really. There was no build here, no feud, anything. It was just stupid. It was garbage. It was poorly spoken by all three of them, and quite frankly, this is a disaster. I don't care about this match. The fact that you could have given this opportunity to someone else backstage, but you brought back Trish Stratus, who I think is in her 50s, to have a match with Tiffany for the women's title lets you know how uncreative and how forced Evolution is. It's not a genuine card. It's just matches thrown out there to compete with AEW, and that's exactly what it feels like. So I don't even know what to say about this. This is an absolute disaster, and Tiffany Stratton is horrible. I don't know what else to say. You can find whole compilations of her botching moves. We all know her senton, the moonsault, multiple times it's been botched, okay? We have to talk about the fact that she is awful on the mic. She is a garbage storyteller, and she doesn't know how to build feuds. She comes out every week and says Tiffany Stratton, and she's obviously green on the gills on the mic. Anybody, if you, for example, if you went to your local store or local anywhere and you saw a wrestler there and you could interview them, and like a great wrestler, an all-time great, for example, like let's say an Undertaker, for example, and you asked Undertaker or an all-time great women's wrestler, let's say, even if you saw Charlotte or someone like that, or Becky Lynch or something, and you asked them, hey, do you think Tiffany's doing a good job as a storyteller and as a mic worker? They would absolutely tell you absolutely not. You understand what I'm saying? They may say yes because, you know what I'm saying, they have to support their coworkers and stuff, their colleagues, but come on, man. This is embarrassing. She embarrasses herself every time on the mic, and it is absolute garbage. Therefore, we can move on from this. We then move on, and we get basically to a Rey Fenix match. I don't really care about this because, quite frankly, even though I shut this episode off early, like, it is what it is. I don't know who won this match. I don't really care, quite frankly, so we can just move on from this.
Andrade and Rey Fenix won. Just want to let y'all know Fraxium had their first loss, so just want to say that. But shout out to Rey Fenix and Andrade for, winning their first tag team duel, their first debut match as a team. Yeah, so shout out to them.
We then get the end of the show, which was Jacob Fatu and Jimmy Uso were out there fighting against the Solo Sikoa new faction. Solo Sikoa and his faction basically powerbombed them through a table, or by them I mean he powerbombed Jacob Fatu through a table, and that's it. You know what I'm saying? That's literally it. I don't know, what to say about this. This episode was absolute garbage. Nothing good happened on this show except for the stuff with Alexa Bliss and Charlotte, and that was like a 10 to 15 minutes part of the entire show. So we can effectively move on. No one cares about this episode. It gets a solid 2 out of 10. You know what I'm saying? That's just the way it is. You're at 2 hours and you get a 2 out of 10, and that's the way it's going to be. Let me know what you guys thought about SmackDown today. Have a great 4th if you celebrated it today. And today, have a phenomenal day. Peace out, and thank you guys for watching. Have a nice day. One love. No, sorry. Hold on. Have a phenomenal day. Peace out, and one love.
Okay. Well, at least we got some matches on the match card for Evolution, but yeah, Hunter, I don't know. I don't know who's making these complaints, but I hope these complaints are from everybody. But however, y'all not going to defeat AEW. I'm sorry to say it. AEW is going to destroy all 3 of these PLEs. And that's just clear as day. I mean, hopefully I could stay up late so that way I could watch the rest of the PLE. But, oh gosh. Would I be able to handle it? I'm sure I can. But, hopefully I can. But just want to let y'all know, we're probably going to be up till 12 because how long it's going to be. But, as for Evolution, we'll watch it. But I'm only watching it because of Raquel and Roxanne. So I just want to say that. But I'm definitely watching All In. We're going to go all in on AEW. If you my little baby, I'll go all in. So you already know what it is. So y'all get in the comment box. Make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe, share if you do. And I'll catch y'all in the next video, all right? I'm out.